Hello, welcome to my video. This is a kyouhaba storyline that does not take place in the canon haikyuu universe. Please note that there are topics surrounding financial struggle and sexual relations. Also, a friendly warning, this video does contain cursing. As always, I do hope you enjoy. Now on to the video.
In which things get a bit weird between two roommates when one of them gets a sugar daddy. The savory smell of bacon wafts in the air, mingling with the scents of fresh scrambled eggs and chamomile. Though Kyoutani works best later in the day, these morning moments, quiet ones filled with only the aroma of a healthy start to a new day, are part of the reason he enjoys waking up early. That is, until his roommate inevitably destroys the quietude, which he's surely about to do, as Kyoutani can hear footsteps approaching from behind his place at the stove. A moment later, two hands come down hard on Kyoutani's waist, as if to surprise him. What's shaking? Bacon. Kyoutani turns his head to the side to look at Yahaba, glaring when he sees the too cheery grin planted on his face. It'll be your head shaking in a minute if you don't let go of me. Yahaba scoffs, but still quickly drops his hands, then moves to stand beside Kyoutani. He leans on the counter, careful not to crease his collared white shirt or crisp yellow sweater vest as he peers into the skillets on the stove. Kyoutani looks down at Yahaba with a raised eyebrow. Oh, you're cooking for us this morning. With the way you're taking care of me, should I start calling you uncle? Kyoutani uses his hand not holding the spatula to aggressively ruffle Yahaba's hair, ignoring Yahaba's loud whining. It's only been 3 days since I've made us breakfast, but you've got all these jokes, Yahaba. I didn't know I was rooming with a comedian all this time. Can you believe it? Is this funny, too? Stop it, stop it. After 10 seconds of struggle, Yahaba pushes Kyoutani's hand away from him. He pouts as his hands fly to his head, trying to restyle his hair. Kyoutani internally smirks at the slight twitch of Yahaba's eye. What is your issue? It takes me forever to get my hair to look like this. Kyoutani is sure that isn't true, but he wouldn't be surprised if it were. Not with the way those mousy brown locks shine under minimal light, pass through Yahaba's long, slender fingers with softness and delicacy. Kyoutani blinks, grimaces at his thoughts, then speaks words that come much easier to him. You should work on your hair longer in the morning, then, walking around looking like a J-pop group reject. You're just jealous. Kyoutani snorts as he turns off the stove. Of you? Aha, and I'd be too if I looked like you, tennis ball heados. Kyoutani squints his eyes, and he can feel his heart begin to race with angry adrenaline. You. But before Kyoutani can even respond, Yahaba's gentle fingers are grazing Kyoutani's hair. Yahaba looks into Kyoutani's eyes as he does it, nut brown irises twinkling. Although, it does seem like you got a haircut. It looks nice. Kyoutani's heart begins to race for a different reason. With his voice caught in his throat, Kyoutani only swats away Yahaba's hand. No comment? Guess flattery works on everyone. Anyway, you usually make pancakes, too. Are you in a rush to get to work? Need help? Kyoutani clears his throat. No, we don't have any flour. Oh. But I thought you went grocery shopping yesterday. Yeah, but, you know. Budget. Oh. It was either the flour or the eggs. Yahaba swiftly pushes away from the counter, but Kyoutani doesn't miss the pained look in his eyes. Kyoutani turns around to watch as Yahaba walks over to the pantry, pulling out a box of cereal. Being broke college students really sucks. He then opens up a cabinet to pull out a bowl and drops it haphazardly on the counter. I've been thinking about picking up more hours at the campus bookstore. Really? You work there a lot during the week already. Yahaba sighs as he pulls out the bag of cereal from the box, unraveling the rolled up part of the bag that's keeping it closed. I know, but like I said, being broke really. Yahaba's words are cut off by his screech as he drops the bag of cereal. Cereal and roaches alike spill onto the counter as Yahaba falls to the ground, scooting backward until his back hits Kyoutani's legs. Holy. Why are there so many roaches in our cereal? This damn apartment is infested. I'll grab the spray, you get the broom. Yahaba shuffles to his feet, and Kyoutani can see that his face has paled as he stares at the roaches with wide eyes and terror. Kyoutani puts a hand on Yahaba's shoulder. I know you really hate bugs, so let's just get rid of them quickly so neither of us is late to where we need to be, okay? Yahaba still stares ahead, muttering his next words, seemingly to himself. Damn this, we really need money. Why is umeboshi candy so popular these days? Kyoutani stands in the candy aisle of the small convenience store he works at beside his co-worker. He leans down and reaches into the box on the ground to grab another bag of the umeboshi candy, measuring it with his gaze before putting it alongside identical bags on the shelf. Kyoutani's co-worker snorts. I dunno, but what sells? I can't stand the taste. I think it's okay. Of course you do, Iwaizumi-san. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but you better watch that tone. Yes, sir. Iwaizumi smiles as he slaps Kyoutani on the back, to which Kyoutani barely conceals his scream, then continues helping with restocking the shelf. You're still in school, aren't you? What are you, a junior? Senior? Junior? Oh, you're almost at the finish line. What was your major again? Chemistry with a nutrition minor. I'm trying to do something related to food science. Haven't heard of that before. That's cool, though. What about your roommate? He's studying English. I think he either wants to do PR stuff or technical writing for companies. Poetry with food science. You two make an interesting pair. Kyoutani feels his ears go warm. Don't bunch us together like that. PFFT. I think we're done with the candy. Let's go to the ramen aisle. Alright. With a huff, Kyoutani lifts a closed box to his right. Once he's got a good hold on it, he begins to walk, 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘰 beside him as they make their way around the store. Say, doesn't lots of the ramen expire? Do you think Butcher would let us take those home instead of throwing them out? 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘰san? I'm sure Kanata Butcher would be okay with that, but why in the world would you want expired ramen? To eat? That doesn't sound like something a food scientist would recommend. I obviously wouldn't be eating things that expired during the Ice Age, but that kind of stuff is still safe to eat for a good amount of time after it expires. The two turn a corner and step into the ramen aisle. Kyoutani carefully sets down the box he's holding, then looks up to see 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘰's concerned expression. What? Like I said, why on God's green earth do you want expired food? Kyoutani hesitates, then flits his gaze away from 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘰 and sighs. I want to do anything I can to save money. I mean, my roommate and I live comfortably enough, we eat enough, sleep enough, and we've never struggled to scrap enough money for rent. But Kyoutani thinks of Yahaba's face earlier that morning. His pained face from them not being able to afford flour, the horrified one from the sight of roaches in the bag of cereal he was simply trying to eat from. And that face he made when the ceiling was leaking the week prior, and when the spring popped out from the couch and stabbed him last month. And all the other terrible faces Yahaba had ever made where money, or the lack thereof, was the culprit. Not being able to afford some things has been causing a lot of frustration, so I want to do my part to alleviate some of that stress. Kyoutani dares to look back at 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘰. 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘰, thankfully, was not looking at him with pity, but instead, with understanding and empathy. I see. Well, there's always some ways to make extra cash as a student. Do you sell your old textbooks? No. I've thought about it, but I like to reference them sometimes. Same thing with Yahaba, my roommate. All that stuff is online for free nowadays. So sell those textbooks, and stop buying textbooks while you're at it. And, aren't you a volunteer tutor? Maybe start doing that for cash. But, I know, tutoring as a service is nice and all, but didn't you say you want to do your part to alleviate some money stress? Kyoutani falls silent, and his eyes lower. 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘰 sighs. These are all just suggestions, alright. I know it's tough dealing with financial issues when you should really only have to worry about your education right now. Let's talk about this during lunch after we stock these shelves, okay? And you pick where we eat, it's my treat. Kyoutani looks up at that. Oh. Can we go to Salmon Sirampu? 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘰 dramatically rolls his eyes with a sigh. Don't do that, you look like Okoa-san. You, shut it. But seriously, you always pick that place, is it your favorite restaurant or something? It was really Yahaba's favorite since they had great 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮, and Kyoutani always brought home leftovers for him. But 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘰 doesn't need to know that. Duh. I'm getting kinda hungry, let's hurry up with this ramen. And as they stock the shelves, Kyoutani can't help but wonder when the day would come when he could buy cheap ramen from the convenience store without immediately wondering if he'd go over budget for the month. After work, Kyoutani spends the late afternoon completing homework, only pausing to eat dinner with Yahaba. You're too generous, uncle, Yahaba had said when he saw the 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝘮𝘰 in the fridge. Kyoutani frowned, naturally, before researching ways to make extra cash late into the night. He knows he's woken up late the next morning when he exits his bedroom to find Yahaba sitting on the couch with his eyes trained on the TV, for once ready for the day before Kyoutani. Yahaba? Yahaba jumps a little, then, noticing Kyoutani, shuts off the TV and sits with his hands folded on his lap. Good morning, Kyoutani. How did you sleep? I hope it was a good rest. Kyoutani makes a face at Yahaba's manner and the much too polite smile on his face. Good morning. I slept fine. That's great. Yeah. Why are you being weird? Yahaba blinks with faux innocence, letting his pretty eyelashes flutter. Whatever do you mean? Oh, stop being cute with me, Yahaba. Yahaba's eyes widen just a bit. You think I'm being cute? Kyoutani full on scowls, and his ears are set ablaze. Just, cut the crap, will you? What is it? Yahaba sighs, the smile falling from his face. Okay, yeah, I have something I want to talk to you about. With what occurred yesterday, Kyoutani supposes it's about finances. Wouldn't this be a good time to talk about the findings from his research? I actually have something I want to talk to you about, too. Oh. You can go first. No. Kyoutani walks over to the couch and sits beside Yahaba. You go ahead. What's up? When Yahaba looks away and begins fiddling with his fingers, Kyoutani speaks in a low whisper. Don't use your pea brain to think too hard, just say it. Rude. Still, the comment gets Yahaba to look back to Kyoutani. But he's staring a little too hard into Kyoutani's eyes, and if Kyoutani's ears go red a second time that morning, so help him, God. So are you gonna? I'm getting a sugar daddy. ... What the fuck did you just say? I said I'm getting a sugar daddy. Why would you do that? Is your libido that high? What? No. Are you lonely? Of course not. Then why would you? If you'd let me speak, you'd know. We won't have to stress about money. Food, clothes, bills, outings, we'll get all the necessities and then some. I've got a cute enough face, I might as well put it to good use. Yahaba, this is ridiculous. This isn't some movie, this is real life. That kind of thing can be dangerous. Why are you yelling at me? Because you're talking like an actual idiot right now. Would someone want to date you if you have a sugar daddy? Oh, screw off. I don't care about that kind of thing. I've been out of the dating game for years. It's not like anyone wants me anyway. Kyoutani winces at that last line. Yahaba. And why is that the first place your mind goes to? Anyway. Kyoutani's heart skips a beat, but he ignores it and pushes forward. It was a genuine question, Yahaba. Okay, apart from your personal life, what about the guy you'll be with, huh? What if he's predatory? What if he exploits you because he has the power of money over you? I know you prefer guys, but what if things go wrong and law enforcement doesn't care about the situation enough because it involves two guys? Then what? I'm not a dumbass, Kyoutani. I've thought about these things. I'll take the necessary precautions and the necessary risks. But why? Because I don't want money or any issue that comes with it to be a concern for us anymore. That's the only reason I'm telling you in the first place. Mind you, I'm a grown man, and I can do whatever the hell I want. But, you're my roommate and my best friend, so I'm telling you because there'll be changes that'll affect both of us. Okay, sure, I want to get pampered, but the main reason I'm doing this is for us. But aren't I enough? Kyoutani wants to say. Instead, he stays silent. Yahaba sighs. You really hate the idea, don't you? Yeah. I was really harsh just now, wasn't I? Yeah. Kyoutani bites his lip. Sorry. I was out of line. Yahaba places a hand over Kyoutani's own, making Kyoutani's hand twitch at the contact. You're forgiven. And, thanks for your concern, but it'll be fine. When you get to see less of me because someone's taking up more of my time and start receiving all the other benefits, you'll grow real fond of sugar daddies. I hate sugar daddies. Kyoutani almost growls the words as he scans items for the customer at the cash register of the convenience store, throwing what they've bought a bit too aggressively into a plastic bag. PFFT, what? Is this unresolved hate because you're too ugly to get one? Matsukoa-san, I'm serious. Kyoutani sucks his teeth as he shoves the plastic bag toward the customer, who all but snatches it and scampers away. Beside Kyoutani, Matsukoa laughs as he scans the items of another customer. Careful, if a customer complains about your attitude again, you know Butcha will have your ass on a platter. And you shouldn't be cursing in front of customers, either. Kyoutani turns his head to see Iwaizumi standing before the register, one hand on his hip while the other is holding a broom. Ah, you're right. Apologies, ma'am. Matsukoa smiles at the customer, bowing his head slightly as he hands her the plastic bag with her items. Now, what are you guys talking about? Sugar daddies? Kyoutani comes lack of one, more like it. Ugh, that's not it. With a strangled groan, Kyoutani runs a hand over his hair, then mutters under his breath. My roommate got a sugar daddy. Huh? My roommate has a sugar daddy. Are you whispering to an ant on the counter or something? Speak up. Kyoutani slams his fist on the counter as he snaps his head up. My roommate has a whole ass sugar daddy, goddammit. Iwaizumi blinks, clearly surprised, while Matsukoa jumps a little. Oh. Then, he smirks. Your roommate? Isn't that your little boyfriend? Kyoutani's face goes hot. He's not my boyfriend, and that's not the point. Sure. So, why does your roommate? Much to Kyoutani's distaste, Matsukoa actually makes air quotes with his fingers. Have a sugar daddy now? Kyoutani grumbles. We're kinda broke, so he found a sugar daddy a couple of weeks ago to help provide. He spits the last word. Ah, so that's the solution to the financial stuff. I don't want it to be. Even if I have to work more hours, or sell a bunch of things, or start using my talents, or whatever, to make extra cash, we don't need someone else to better our financial situation. But now he has this old, saggy man giving us money to pay our rent and buy us food. And I see Yahaba, my roommate, less and less each day, because this grandpa always wants to take him out on a damn date. Just last week, they went to some island. It'd take me a good year to save up for us to go on a trip like that. And when I do get to see Yahaba, he's always got some new bougie clothes on that scream. Screw off, peasant. I swear, the jacket he wore yesterday was worth a week of my salary. And then. I'm not really understanding the issue here. You kind of sound like a dad being protective of his teenage daughter. Yeah, he does. What? It sounds like he's living his best life. Free expensive trips? Free fancy clothes? Free food? Well, I guess he has to provide some services. Kyoutani's stomach churns at the thought. But, still. It's a pretty nice deal. And it's not like you're not getting any of the sugar. For once, I agree with Matsukoa. You should agree with me all the time. I'm a genius from. But, I kind of get your point. From your point of view, you're suddenly relying on the benefits your friend is getting from a guy you don't even know, and that kind of reliance, especially on something that may not last, isn't something you want, right? Right. But, you're still working here, and your roommate is working, too? Kyoutani nods. Right, so even if things hit the fan with that guy, it's not like you guys won't have any way to take care of yourselves. That's true, it'll just be like before, right? Right. Then you're really upset because you're jealous, right? Kyoutani jumps at the sudden voice coming from behind him. He turns to see a grinning face that's just peeked outside the door of the storage room behind the register. Jesus Christ, Oikoa-san, are you trying to give me a heart attack? Oikoa giggles as he slides out of the storage room, closing the door behind him before bounding over to stand beside Iwaizumi. Miss me? As if you weren't gone long enough. Long enough to hear the conversation. Oikoa then turns to look Kyoutani up and down with a smile that makes Kyoutani nothing short of uneasy. So, Mad Dog Chan's boyfriend. Roommate. Okay, roommate. Oikoa does the annoying little air quotes with his fingers, too. Has a sugar daddy, and Mad Dog Chan obviously doesn't like it because it forces him to give up control. which makes him feel like his efforts with his roommate aren't good enough. To put it simply, he's jealous. Though, I have a feeling that those efforts go beyond just splitting the costs of living expenses. Kyoutani just knows that he's blushing from the way 𝘱𝘂𝗴𝗏 grins triumphantly. Ooh, 𝘱𝘂𝗴's got that scary smile. Why are you speaking so mysteriously, 𝘸𝘂𝗴𝗏? Hey, no need for name calling, 𝘱𝘂𝗏-chan. 𝘱𝘂𝗴 throws an arm around 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝗮's neck and leans in close to his face. What, you want me to be more direct? 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝗮 huffs and narrows his eyes. With you, I'm not even sure if that's the best idea. Okay, now both of you are speaking mysteriously. Kyoutani turns away from Matsukoa and, whatever the hell 𝘱𝘂𝗴𝗏 and 𝘱𝘰𝘰𝗮's display is, to pull his phone from his pocket and look at the text Yahaba has just sent. Kyoutani smiles to himself as he swipes across the screen and begins to type out a reply. Like hell he's jealous of some senior citizen. Yahaba was just with him for the cash, not for his personality or looks. And if Yahaba was with the guy for something beyond money, that wasn't Kyoutani's business or problem, anyhow. None of this is his business or problem beyond where living expenses are concerned, really. So he won't let it bother him. It bothers him some 7 hours later. Kyoutani is sitting at the small, knobbly dining table in his shared apartment, poring over ethers and aldehydes in his chemistry textbook, when Yahaba opens his bedroom door for the first time in an hour. Kyoutani thinks little of it, not even looking up from the text to spare Yahaba a glance as he speaks. Hey, Yahaba. Are you ready for dinner? If you give me 15 minutes, I can make us some ramen. No need to make dinner for me. Kyoutani registers the sound of clacking as Yahaba walks, and Kyoutani supposes he's wearing the shiny black ankle boots that were gifted to him by his sugar daddy. Going out with your English club members for dinner again? Can you bring me something? I actually don't want to eat ramen for the 3rd time. It's not with the English club. Kyoutani pauses his scanning of the textbook pages and glances over at Yahaba. Then, he does a double take, turning his head completely. Yahaba has his soft, brown hair styled so that he has a middle part, which surprisingly suits him well. He's wearing a sheer, black mesh shirt with slim black pants and a simple silver belt swung about his small hips. Kyoutani internally admits he looks good, almost too good. But, what the hell are you wearing? Why am I staring at your nipples? Yahaba makes a quiet, embarrassed noise. Don't be so blunt unless it's to compliment me. Did that guy make you wear this? That guy. You know exactly who I'm referring to, the sugar daddy. He has a name. Which is Tanukyayo Tijo. Tanukyayo? You know, the Tanuki are associated with bad omens. And I'll have you know that Tijo means a righteous boy. HMPH. Anyway, Tanukyayo-san graciously bought me this outfit and kindly asked me to wear it to our next date, which I, of course, graciously agreed to. But, it's showing, so much. Yahaba covers his face with his hands. I'm perfectly aware, alright. Yahaba lowers his voice to a whisper shout, as though that guy, his sugar daddy, is in earshot. I'm slightly ashamed to be wearing this in the privacy of my own bedroom, let alone in public. Can't you wear a jacket or something? The transparency is kind of indecent. Maybe. But, Yahaba uncovers his face, revealing the newfound rosiness on his skin. Do you think I look nice? Kyoutani can already feel the tips of his ears burning. I mean, sure. Yeah, you look good. You always look good. Well, you know you always look good. I'm sure that Takane-san will like it. A lot. Kyoutani's ears are on fire at this point. Yahaba laughs as the redness leaves his cheeks. It's Tanukyayo-san, silly. But, thanks, I needed that confidence booster. Still want something from the restaurant? I guess. Where are you guys going? Steak Kajiro. Kyoutani audibly gulps. Steak Kajiro? I feel like just stepping into there would cost me half my paycheck. Yahaba giggles. Well, when your dick game's good, the treatment is good. Jesus Christ, okay, I did not need to know that. I'm kidding. We're not physically intimate, we just do stuff over video call, if you know what I mean. The most we do in person is make out. Still far too much information. Sorry. Yahaba is all flushed again, running a hand through his hair once, then again to fix the mess he's made of it. I'm going back to my room, to get a jacket. Kyoutani nods, and Yahaba rushes to his bedroom, slamming the door behind him. And Kyoutani is left there in disgust and disbelief, wishing he could erase the past 5 minutes of his life. But what leaves him feeling the grossest is his inexplicable relief from knowing the boundaries between Yahaba and his sugar daddy. After all, why the hell would he care about that? He's not left alone with his thoughts for too long, as a few minutes later, Yahaba steps out of his room wearing a black puffer jacket that covers most of his chest. Better? Much better. Thanks for the approval, uncle. Just leave, you're so annoying. PFFT. Alright, I'll get going now, just text me what you want. Laters. Once Yahaba shuts the front door behind him, Kyoutani lets out a breath he feels like he was holding for hours. He then looks around their apartment, the quaint couch with one too many broken springs, the modest TV that was who knows how many years old, the hand-me-down kitchen items and appliances Yahaba's parents had allowed him to bring from home, their small, ever-wobbling wooden dining table, and the dark violet rug in the center of the living space that Kyoutani had thrifted a few months ago. Though Kyoutani hasn't been into Yahaba's room in months, he knows it looks the same, and perhaps still nearly identical to his own, a single bed pushed against a wall, a small desk against the opposite, and few other items that the floor plan allowed for. Although their apartment isn't large, for the first time, Kyoutani feels small and alone in this place. And, thinking of Yahaba eating steak at a high-end restaurant with a man that could easily afford it all, for the first time, Kyoutani wonders if this place, and if he, were ever enough in the first place. Who cares about hydroxyl groups in alcohol? I just need the alcohol. Kyoutani props his elbows up on the table of the library study room, resting his head in his hands as he groans. Beside him, his study partner sighs. Dude, that's the 5th time in the past hour you've used chemistry to talk about how miserable you are. And what about it? Isn't active recall effective studying? We learned about the basics of functional groups ages ago. This is just an ineffective expression of emotions. Kyoutani glares. Shinji-kun, since when were you a psychology student, huh? Wataru sighs again and pushes aside the flashcards laid out on the table. Alright, I think that's enough for today, you can't even focus. What's up with you? Kyoutani grunts. I don't speak, whatever that noise is. Use your words. After a moment of silence, Wataru speaks up again. You know you can speak your mind with me, right? ... Kyoutani contemplates. Beyond Yahaba, his co-workers, and his parents, Wataru knew Kyoutani best. The two were relatively close. Still, there were some lines between them Kyoutani only pranced around, as they were primarily study buddies. The sugar daddy situation that was bothering Kyoutani felt too out there for him to even want to verbalize. On the other hand, if he didn't tell someone about this in the next 24 hours, he was going to explode like a Coke bottle that just got a Mentos mint dropped into it. Okay, I have a bit of a problem. Wataru's eyes glisten, and he smiles slightly. Yeah, I'm listening. One of my friends is in a Kyoutani cringes as he speaks his next words. Friends with benefits relationship. And it's going well for them, but it feels like, I don't know, they're getting all their needs taken care of from this person? Wataru blinks slowly. I'm not sure if you're aware, but that kind of relationship is exactly for getting your needs taken care of. Kyoutani flushes. I know that, it's just. It feels like their partner has wiggled their way into every part of my friend's life to the point it affects our relationship as well. I know they find that relationship necessary for certain things, but in some areas, the benefits are too much. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Well, I feel like there's something else you're not saying. Do you feel replaced? Kyoutani jolts, and the expression on Wataru's face softens. Well, there's no easy solution to that, but there's a super easy first step to getting that resolved. Talk to your friend, of course. I get why the conversation may be awkward to initiate. But it's for the sake of a friendship you obviously care about. So maybe think about the situation and how you feel some more, and find time to just talk to your friend? Maybe, but what if they? None of that. Your goal is to at least express your feelings, actions and solutions come afterward, okay? Fine. ... Thanks. Wataru grins. Gratitude from Kyoutani Kentaro-senpai. I must have given great advice. Don't call me that, we're in the same classes. But you're still older, and I look up to you. Wataru then stands up from his seat at the table, slinging his backpack onto his back. I've got to get going. See you soon. Wataru enthusiastically waves goodbye and leaves the room, leaving Kyoutani to study by himself. However, after about 20 minutes of feeble study attempts, Kyoutani, too, decides it's time to head out. His apartment building is only a 10-minute walk from the campus library, and Kyoutani arrives on his apartment floor some 15 minutes later. As with many apartment buildings, the hallways are monotonous, dirty white walls, dark brown doors, and even darker, cheap welcome mats. When Kyoutani turns the corner into his hallway, though, he's greeted with a sight out of the norm. At the doorstep 3 doors down to the left sits a giant bouquet of red roses and a small, black box. His doorstep. Kyoutani fights the urge to stomp on the bouquet as he gets closer to the door. He leans down and assesses the display, then notices a tag attached to one of the flowers. He grabs it and passes it over in his hands, noticing writing on it that both confirms his suspicions and makes him grimace. To Shigeru. From TG. Not even all the roses in the world are a match for your beauty, my honey. Kyoutani really does gag a little as he picks up the roses and the little gift box, holding them with one hand as the other sorts through his keys and opens the front door. He uses his feet to messily drop off his shoes at the Jenkin before walking to the dining area and dropping those damned, cursed roses on it. And that little black box. Which he's definitely not curious about the contents of. Kyoutani goes to his room to put his backpack beside his desk and change his clothes, and when he re-enters the living room, he swears that gift box is staring him down. But it's not like he's wondering what's inside or anything. No, it's the gift box beckoning him to come back to the dining table now, run his hands over it, and pick it up to examine it, although it is not for him, not curiosity. ... Yahaba wouldn't mind if he took a peek inside, right? Kyoutani doesn't even understand why he so badly wants to know the contents of the box. Is it his business? Number? His problem? Definitely not. Wrong to look? Definitely yes. But the box calls for Kyoutani once more, Kyoutani tells himself, so he feels obliged and lifts the lid of it before peering inside. What he sees has him blushing furiously within a matter of seconds. Inside only sits a black rollerplay police hat, a tie with a mock police badge on it, and a black leather speedo that is surely all too revealing. This is the sort of thing Yahaba would wear for the guy. The mental image is enough to rock Kyoutani's world for a moment, and heat courses through his entire body as he covers his face with shame. Not even a moment later, he hears a jingle of keys, and the front door opens. I'm home. Oh, Kyoutani? What? Because their apartment truly is small, Kyoutani has no time to clear the crime scene. He parts his fingers to see Yahaba in the doorway, and though his hand covers most of his face, the confused look on Yahaba's face tells Kyoutani that his own face is still full of emotion. Hi. What's with you? Kyoutani is frozen in place, heart racing as Yahaba strides forward and past Kyoutani. Something is up with, Kyoutani dares to look at Yahaba, whose face is now equally red as he snatches up the black box, slamming the lid back onto it. Then, Yahaba turns to Kyoutani with rage in his eyes. Why the hell are you opening my packages? Kyoutani lets the hand fall from his face and sighs shakily. I have no good excuse. This is a violation of privacy. I know, you're right. I'm sorry. Yahaba groans frustratedly. You being so understanding of your wrongdoing is pissing me off even more. I can't even be mad at you like I want to be. Yahaba runs a hand over his face with another groan. Gosh, Kyoutani, I know we're close, but I feel really embarrassed knowing you've seen the lingerie someone sent to me, you know? Kyoutani's face grows ever warmer. Yeah, I know. Holding the box, Yahaba dashes to his room, then returns a moment later without it. Let's never talk about this again. Deal? Deal. Though, Kyoutani's not sure if he'll ever be able to get the idea of Yahaba wearing that thing out of his head. Anyway, you're home kind of early. Shinji-kun and I decided to end our studying early. Yahaba hums. Shinji-kun? That kid that sticks to you like white on rice. Kyoutani raises an eyebrow. He's only a year younger than us. Then he's a kid in my book. You're impossible. And he doesn't stick to me like white on rice. He looks at you with puppy love. What are you on about? That's not true. Plus, you've literally only seen him twice. We are friends, you know. Yahaba steps away and into the kitchen, where he begins to look through the cabinets. Forgot you actually know how to make friends. Ken. Shut it. What are you looking for? A vase. At that moment, Yahaba opens a cabinet revealing a tall, glass vase. For my roses. Yahaba precariously lifts the vase and walks back over to the dining table. He places the vase on the table, then lifts the bouquet with a soft smile and brings his nose to it. They smell so nice. I'm sure Tenoyo-san hoped you would think so. It's like you're trying to get his name wrong. It's Tanukyo-san. Whatever, actual names don't even matter, right, my honey? Yahaba blushes lightly. How do you know he calls me that? He wrote it on the gift tag attached to the roses. Oh. Yahaba clears his throat as he begins to place the flowers into the vases. I love roses. But aren't pink roses your favorite? Kyoutani mumbles the words, but apparently not quietly enough, as Yahaba responds. You remember that? Yeah, I remember you saying it was because red was too harsh. And that makes pink, a lighter red, a kinder color. With his mouth slightly agape and pretty brown eyes sparkling, Yahaba looks bedazzled as he looks at Kyoutani. Well, you remember all that? Kyoutani looks away in embarrassment. When you've harped it so many times, how could I not? In reality, Kyoutani could count on one hand how many times Yahaba had ever spoken about it. He just took pride in cataloging Yahaba's likes and dislikes. Though, why did he care so much about those things? Before Kyoutani can get lost in his thoughts, Yahaba cuts through the silence. Oh, have I? Yahaba grins at Kyoutani. Well, thanks for being a good listener. I'll be in my room for a while, boy. Let's have dinner together tonight. Alright, see you. When Yahaba enters his room and closes the door, Kyoutani's mind can't help but drift. Perhaps behind that door, Yahaba is pulling on that skimpy outfit to put on a show for his sugar daddy. Kyoutani shivers at the thought, which alone is almost too vulgar. But he also can't get it out of his head, nor can he get rid of the feeling swelling in his heart at the thought. Kyoutani is sitting on the living room couch playing a video game when Yahaba comes stomping toward him. Kyoutani raises an eyebrow, but his eyes don't leave the screen. Scooch. Kyoutani scoots over a bit, and he feels the couch sink a little as Yahaba sits beside him. Now, lift your arms. Kyoutani learned a long time ago to not question and only comply or deny Yahaba's ridiculousness. Today, he decides to indulge him and lifts his arms, still holding onto the game controller. Kyoutani soon feels something drop onto his lap, and he glances down to see Yahaba looking up at him. Hey. Kyoutani smiles a little and lowers his arms. Hey. I've got nothing to do. What? Don't you have a dinner date to get ready for? Yahaba begins tracing circles on Kyoutani's clothed stomach, which Kyoutani can only attempt to ignore as he tries not to lose this game. No, Tanukyo-san cancelled, for the first time. Isn't that crazy? Kyoutani has to force himself to not grin with all the jolliness in the world. Oh, that's too bad. You sound so insincere. Anyway, I'm bored. Kyoutani thinks back to his conversation with Wataru from a few days ago. With a sigh, he pauses his game and looks down at Yahaba. Hey, can I talk to you about something? Yahaba blinks, then slowly tilts his head. Sure, about? The sugar daddy. Kyoutani. It's not about what you think it is. It's just. Kyoutani sucks in a breath. I knew he'd be taking up a lot more of your time, but I didn't realize it would be to this extent, I guess. Kyoutani slowly exhales through his nostrils, feeling a bit silly about what he's about to say. I miss you. From the way that Yahaba's face instantly lights up as his expression melts into softness, Kyoutani knows that there is no reason to be sheepish. Or, Kyoutani, I didn't know you felt that way. But maybe I should have known. You are seeing me a lot less, after all. Yahaba smiles shyly. A bad part of me feels glad knowing that you actually do miss me. Yahaba leans in close to Kyoutani, enough for him to feel Yahaba's breath on his face. I miss you, too, by the way. Nothing compares to Ken. Why know that? Kyoutani scowls and pushes Yahaba's face away. And nothing compares to personal space. Why know that? Yahaba grumbles something about Kyoutani not being cute at all and sticks out his tongue. We can't even have a moment without you ruining it. So, do you have any plans tonight? The scowl is immediately wiped off of Kyoutani's face. Nah, I'm free. He was going to go bowling in an hour with his co-workers, but they wouldn't mind if he bailed, right? Do you want to go out somewhere? Yahaba nods. There's a fireworks festival tonight that's not too far away. Yahaba looks down at his watch. I think if we leave in the next half hour, we'll be there just in time for the fireworks. Alright. Let's eat, then go. Sounds good. The two hurriedly scarf down leftovers in their fridge and change into more appropriate evening outdoor clothing. Within 25 minutes, they are outside of their apartment building, walking side by side down the sidewalk. Geez, it's chillier than I thought it would be. Right. But, you've got that puffer jacket on, so it can't be too bad. What about you, though? That sweater is really thin. I'm fine. If Yahaba narrowing his eyes says anything, Kyoutani can tell his lie isn't working. He's shivering a little more with every step he takes. Here. Yahaba moves closer to Kyoutani so that their arms are pressed against each other. Then, he grabs Kyoutani's left hand and pulls it into the pocket of his puffer jacket. A bit warmer? Kyoutani's entire face begins to heat up, and he spins his head away from Yahaba to pretend he's looking up at the crescent moon. Yeah, a lot warmer. Thanks. 10 minutes later, the two find themselves at the back of a large, excited crowd of people. Guess we're here. We won't be able to see a thing from back here. Kyoutani turns to see Yahaba's small bottom lip slightly jutted to the side. Come on. Grasping Yahaba's hand inside the jacket pocket, Kyoutani begins to speed walk to the left of the crowd, causing Yahaba to yelp in surprise. Oh. Where are we going? You'll see. Kyoutani walks until the pavement becomes grass, then begins to start pulling Yahaba through the sparse shrubbery. This is, like, off-roading. Are you going to murder me? Where are you? SHH. Still holding Yahaba's hand, Kyoutani walks to the right, then, once he meets a slight incline, starts walking up it. A minute later, he and Yahaba are on top of a small, slanted mound that stands above the entire crowd. Whoa. Yahaba releases Kyoutani's hand and plops onto the soft grass, sitting crisscross before patting the spot beside him. What are you waiting for? Join me, join me. With a huff, Kyoutani kneels down on the grass to sit beside Yahaba and, missing his touch, subtly scoots until their shoulders bump. Yahaba smiles at Kyoutani. How did you know this was here? I recognize this place. I came here for the fireworks festival last year with 𝘀𝘂𝗴𝗏. He showed me this spot. 𝘀𝘂𝗴𝗏, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Well, people usually don't like to reminisce too much when it comes to their exes, right? Yeah, you're right. Yahaba leans his head on Kyoutani's shoulder and smiles up at him. Focus on me, then. Yahaba's smile grows, and Kyoutani knows his ears have gone red. Sure. They sit in comfortable silence as they wait for the show to begin. Kyoutani begins to doze off when a sudden vibration against his torso startles him awake. What was that? Oh, just when I was about to get to see you sleep. Sorry, it's my phone in my jacket pocket. Yahaba leans away from Kyoutani to pull his phone from his pocket, and the loss of the extra warmth sends a shiver down Kyoutani's spine. Kyoutani looks over Yahaba's shoulder to peek at the phone screen, frowning slightly when he sees the contact name. It's that guy. He's not nameless. Call him Tanukyo-san. I don't give a shit about his name. Why is he calling you? Didn't he cancel your plans? Kyoutani, why are you getting so worked up all of a sudden? He's allowed to call me, you know. Don't answer his call. Not right now. But. Yahaba. Kyoutani knows he's being a bit selfish. He knows he's being somewhat unreasonable. Still. Focus on me. Yahaba's eyes widen a bit. The phone in his hand rings. Then, it stops. Kyoutani eyes flutter shut with a sigh. Are you jealous? Kyoutani reopens his eyes to see Yahaba's hard expression. What? You heard me. I'd hate to be presumptuous, so feel free to tell me that I'm wrong. But, it seems like your dislike for the whole sugar daddy thing is very personal. What makes you think that? A bunch of little things that all add up. Like what? No offense, Yahaba, but why would I be envious of someone over you? He doesn't mean those words. He'd never mean them. And he regrets the words when he sees a flash of hurt on Yahaba's face. Well, then, explain just now. The show hasn't even started yet. What's wrong with me answering him and talking for a little while? Because you're jealous. You can't even think of another excuse. What makes you an expert on jealousy, huh? Well, I had to watch you date 𝘀𝘂𝗴𝗏 for 2 years and feel like I never had a chance. Yahaba gasps and clasps his hands over his mouth. Kyoutani's eyes widen. What? Yahaba covers his entire face with his hands. Nothing. I said nothing. You were jealous of 𝘀𝘂𝗴𝗏? Yahaba grunts, then nods, shifting his fingers so that Kyoutani can see his eyes. Going from being someone's number 1 to number 2 isn't exactly the best feeling. But there was something else he had said, something that's making Kyoutani's heart stutter. Yahaba, what did you mean by that last part? Yahaba places his hands on his lap. What part? And feel like I never had a chance. Yahaba squeaks embarrassingly and breaks eye contact. That doesn't really mean anything. Yahaba. Don't mind, don't mind. Yahaba. Kyoutani brings his hands up to grasp Yahaba's shoulders. Does it really not mean anything? Yahaba glances back at Kyoutani. ... So what if it did? Heat begins to creep up Kyoutani's neck. Are you actually saying what I think you're saying? Before them, fireworks begin to burst in the sky. Kyoutani sees them through his peripheral vision, but his eyes are locked on Yahaba's face. The fireworks cast violent hues on Yahaba's skin, but the natural pink spotted on his cheeks is still vivid in the moonlight. He's looking at Kyoutani through half-lidded eyes, his lips slightly pursed. So what if I am saying what you think I'm saying? What would you do about it? Kyoutani's entire face is on fire. Yahaba. Like Yahaba's lips are a magnet, Kyoutani finds himself naturally drifting closer. He can feel Yahaba's shaky breath on his skin, smell his minty toothpaste, see his chestnut eyes from a closer distance than he ever had before. When their lips are only a few centimeters apart, a sudden full body shiver runs through Kyoutani, and he quickly turns his head away to sneeze. Yahaba laughs uneasily. Bless you. Yahaba clears his throat. The fireworks are really pretty. When you're done sneezing, come look at them with me. Kyoutani hears Yahaba shift his body away, but Kyoutani remains staring at the grass, the inside of his elbow still covering his reddened face. What the hell just happened? He and Yahaba, were they really about to? Why was he about to do that? And why is he feeling sincerely disappointed that the sneeze interrupted them? Kyoutani's heart is thumping so hard that he's afraid he'll go into cardiac arrest. He feels himself going dizzy from the thought of Yahaba's words, his stare, and the heat he causes to erupt within Kyoutani. Oh, this can't be good.
When August